Today on Context, it's an integral part of our lives, but is it out of control? Communication. We'll examine who or what controls it next. I'm Lorna Duick, and you're watching Context, the show that looks at life beyond the headlines. People want to get their opinions seen and heard, and advances in technology have made it easier. But what happens when what we publicly say or write offends others? Who or what controls the power of our communication? And what happens when it's up to the country's top court to decide if we've crossed the line? Let's put it in context. Our first guest taught the world how to talk and influence people through internet blogging, social media, and text. Seth Godin has founded multiple companies. He writes one of the most read blogs online and is consistently the cutting edge of social trends. He's written 13 bestsellers. Seth joins us now from New York City. Hello, Seth. You taught us how to communicate to the world through social media, and now that that genie is out of the bottle, what are some ethical guidelines for dealing with our power with it?
Well, you know, we can change the technology, Lorna, but it doesn't change who we are as people. And a lot of times people sit in front of the keyboard and pretend that no one knows who they are. And they act in a way that they're not necessarily proud of, or in a way that is something they'd want to put their name on. It's funny, at Disney World, they have to have guards for the characters that are in costume. And the reason is that people think that just because the other folks are in costume, they can pinch them or kick them or even hit them. And a lot of times that's what I'm seeing online, is that just because someone isn't in the room with you, you might have this impulse to lash out or to flame somebody or to raise your voice or to spam. And I think that genuine online communication works when you're yourself. And that means owning your words and acting in a way that you don't mind other people seeing.
So, Seth, how do you prevent digital communication, Facebook, Twitter, all of that from diminishing real-life dynamics?
Well, here's the way I look at it. The question is, would they miss you if you were gone? That part of our role on this planet is to make a dent in the universe, to do work that's sufficiently generous and interesting and important that if we stopped doing it, if we disappeared, if we moved on, people would miss us. And the problem with the vast number of little messages and tweets and posts and likes and friends flashing by online is there's too much of it to miss anything. That it's just a giant haystack and there are no needles. And for me, it's great to have friends in every country in the world. It's great to have a following of people where if I needed a bed to sleep in Tucson, I could find one. But the real challenge for me is, can I find the people who have impacted me? Can I find people where I have a chance to genuinely contribute? And if I can make those connections, I try to do it in person. That online is a great way to open doors, but what we know is that we are wired and our DNA has evolved to get us to the point where it's breathing the same molecules as somebody else. It's being in the same space. It's standing up for things you believe in with people. That's what makes us human.
Seth, what are the warning signs that you are sunk in a sea of oversharing?
Well, you know, oversharing is this other element in our life, and it's very cultural. So this notion that we have this artificial privacy distinction sort of comes from the Victorian age and calling cards and butlers and fences and clothes and artifice that translates into your role in society. So I'm not so worried about that stuff. What I'm worried about is that nuance gets lost. If you put something into 10 words and it's memorialized forever online, and those 10 words didn't adequately explain what you really meant, you have to live with those 10 words forever. And it's so much easier to hurt people, and so much easier to be misunderstood, and so much easier to leave a trail that you're not necessarily proud of. And it's that nuance that we're missing because digital isn't good at nuance. And so for me, what I try to do is set boundaries of things that I don't think I can talk about adequately and other things where I can. And the reason that I blog and don't use Twitter is I don't think I can tell my story in 140 characters, but I find that being able to be present for people in a blog is really useful to me and to them. But everyone's going to have to make their own choices. There are certainly people, who tweet 20, 30 times a day. You can't fake it when you keep doing that. And so the consistency and the authenticity of all of that noise from one individual, it adds up. It adds up to their reputation. I guess basically what it comes down to is this. It's harder than ever to fake it, and it's easier than ever to be yourself. So once you decide to be honest and transparent and consistent, you don't have to worry about keeping your story straight. You can tell your story the same way all the time because it's your story and it's who you are.
Okay, Seth, do you believe in self-censorship of information?
Well, I think that that's the best kind. There are people like Jeff Jarvis who disagree with me. Jeff is happy to blog all the details of his prostate surgery. Jeff is happy to explain in every minute of the day what he's doing. And if he likes doing that, more power to him. But for me, what I understand is that every morning you get up and you put on clothing whether or not you feel like it. Every day guys get up and shave whether or not they feel like it. Going to work clean shaven is then a lie, in that you didn't mean to show up clean shaven, you didn't want to be clean shaven, but you're telling a story, which is I respect you, I care about my job, I care about my appearance. So even though I don't feel like it in this moment, I'm censoring that feeling and showing up buffed, showing up presentable. And I think the same thing is true with our writing online. Same thing is true with our connection online. That the actions we take tell a story about us. And if you're not proud of the story, then tell a different one.
So I want to close with this. You opened up this world of social media, told us to flood it with information. In the last 15 years, what have you discovered is the greatest detriment to doing that?
I think that what's happened as social media has gotten shorter and smaller and easier to do is that there's too many ditto heads in the world, too many people who retweet, too many people who repost, too many people who say, yes, yes, I agree, and not enough people with the guts to stand up and say something new and the impulse to say something original. That we don't need any more paint by numbers. We don't need any more people copying the Mona Lisa. What we need are individuals who will act weird because they are weird, because we are all weird. We need to stop worrying about conforming to the tribe, conforming to the group that our parents have told us to belong to, or the politician insists is correct. And instead, this is the moment, for the first time in the world, where almost everyone in the developed world, the privileged world, can stand up, talk about what they care about, and do their own art. They can't say, I need to wait to get picked, because they can pick themselves. They can't say, no one will like me, because someone will. And so this opportunity to speak up isn't going to be here for long, and I hope people will take it.
Seth Godin, thank you very much.
No, it's a pleasure. Good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Now it's time to find out what you think. Have you ever regretted something you posted online? Would you say yes, no, or unsure? Call us at 1-800-215-4913 or send an email to answers@contextwithlorna.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter at contexttv.com. Have a webcam? You can leave a video message on our site there and let us know what you think. Be part of the conversation. We'd love to know what you think. Our studio audience is taking a live vote, and we'll have those results just after the break. Plus, we'll continue with a dialogue on communication ethics. One of Canada's leading voices for freedom of expression, Ezra Levant, is here in studio. Stay tuned.